We respectfully acknowledge that this podcast was recorded on the unceded ancestral lands of the Lheidli First Nation, on whose land we live, work, and play. Welcome to Confessions of a Nerdy Girl, the podcast where we talk about all things nerdy. I'm your host, Pam Muir, and on today's episode, we are talking about cosplay. How to choose, what type of stuff to do, where should you go for your supplies, everything that we can think of. Today's guest is Astrid Flores. She is a winner of the local Northern Fancon Masters competition, which is the highest level of cosplay, and she is an amazing costume designer. Please join me in welcoming Astrid. Astrid, thank you so much for being on the show. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
About myself, well, you need at least another 3 hours. That's okay. I will tell you a little bit what I do, and then I came to Prince George and I decided to do cosplay as part of kind of building community and get to know people. So I've been doing it before I was here in Prince George, and I've been doing it for maybe like 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while now, but officially competing maybe a couple of years now. Yeah. I enjoy doing all the craft materials, to like building like a challenging costume, to like the basic Halloween, let's try to get something simple and just go out there and have fun. Yeah.
I want to know what your very first, when you first got into cosplay, what was your very first costume?
Oh my god. I will tell you about the time that I first got in Prince George and tried to like dress up. Have you ever seen the Transformers, like the little kids that transform into like these cardboard boxes that look like the thing? Yeah. So one day I was like, wow, the new Transformers was the one with the dinosaurs. I forgot now the name.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to remember.
Age of Extinction, I think it was. Like they were just doing it at the local movie theater, and I didn't know anybody, so I was like, okay, I'm short. I didn't subscribe for this. I'm very short, so I'm gonna make one like those kids, because I want to be able to transform into like the car, right? I was doing Bumblebee, so I wanted to do like the Mustang. So I'm like trying to like figure out how many cardboard boxes do I need it, and like duct tape and lights, and not knowing like how people will react in Prince George. It's like, well, I'm just gonna risk it, and like maybe like some nerdy person out there will just recognize me and be like, hey, we want to be friends. And it ended up happening. I dressed up. I went to the movies with my then partner, dressed up, and nobody was dressing up.
It's hit and miss whether or not we dress up for movies here.
Yeah, but I think like initiated that for me to just kind of feel more comfortable in a place that I didn't know anybody, and just kind of go ahead and dress up and do it anyways, right? And I remember going to like just the seat on my movie theater seater, like, okay, well, I have all this big box, I will have to take it off and put it back on, and like walking with the like a little bit, not shame, but like just like, oh yeah, this is me. Can I have some popcorn?
See you walking with a cardboard box,
with
the thing of popcorn to a movie seat,
and like getting to the movie theater on costume was like what I was thinking. I don't know, but it was a lot of fun. I think afterwards I was like, well, I'm done. I'm just gonna rip it apart, just trying to get it off me, because I will send you some pictures how it looked, but it was a lot of fun.
Could you actually transform into the car?
I could. You know what?
That's impressive.
The challenge was to transform, and I think I nailed it. I don't know, maybe in my eyes I thought I nailed it, but
well, yeah. You wanted to transform, and there you have it. You could do cosplay and cardboard if that's all you've got.
Exactly.
Very
duct
easy.
tape, paint,
Duct tape and paint. There you go. Cosplay and cardboard. Just don't go in the rain.
Yeah, no. It was, I think I was choking at one point during the movie because I was trying to sit down, but the carbon boxes was just kind of going into like, just, I don't know, cutting. I was like, well, not comfortable, but I had a lot of fun.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And you probably attracted some attention.
Yeah. I kind of went to like look into like, is there anybody out there who wants to do this? And I started looking into like groups on social media. It's like, is there any people out there who enjoy the same thing I do? And one of them was like cosplayers of Prince George. So I started meeting people, and then we started dressing up for like Star Wars, and like the new movies start coming out, so people are dressing up. And some other ones like Guardians of the Galaxy was another one that we did. The Avengers, like all the big movies, right? Like everybody wants to like just have fun, and I think that I just like, boop, we're gonna all dress up now in Prince George. Why not?
You started the trend of us dressing up.
I mean, I'm not gonna claim it, but I feel like a lot of people were dressing up already in Star Wars, and just kind of have other fans to join with all the other stuff, right? Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome, and it's a good way to bring things to Prince George, because back in the day when I was younger, you wouldn't have done that.
No.
The nerds back in the day, we were kind of hidden in a box.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we didn't have Northern Fancon. We didn't have any of these outlets. So the fact that you came and did that was awesome.
Yeah, I think like it's often that we are a little bit of isolation and antisocial when it comes to those things, but kind of putting a costume on and pretending to be somebody else is just an open door for being whoever you want to be, right? Mm-hmm. That's a big kind of attractive part of cosplay. It's like you can be Princess Leia, and like Leia is so badass, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not Astrid, but now I'm Princess Leia, right? Like, or I'm Baby Yoda, right? Like Grogu. And all these different characters that you can play along and just kind of be yourself and just be more open to, just to be out there and be social. Sometimes even just those barriers of like getting to know
it kind of
people.
changes those barriers that we have.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And just kind of like also you have something to share. It's a story that you share with somebody, right? Like something that you have in common. You don't have to figure out what are you going to talk about. They already know what the episode of Star Wars look like, right? Like all these different things, or even just things of getting together to work into a costume and build it together. So another kind of areas that you can explore.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell our viewers, how do you choose a cosplay? Because I've seen a few cosplay costumes that you've done. Yeah. How do you choose? What's your kind of go-to?
That's a great question. I recently was thinking about this because I think people think that you can set up your like how you pick a character currently to your physique, and cosplay itself is for everybody. So even if you have a different type of body and you still want to do the character, you don't have to focus on if I want to be a tall lady, well, obviously I'm not a tall lady, but
we'll get you stilts.
Yeah, right. But there's other things that you can change around, or you can just be the character on your own version, right? So that's something that I always consider. Like, I like to try characters that are something that I will have fun with. Also trendies. Dan, like currently is like a big one. There is Delicious in Dungeon. There's all these different new stuff coming up, and you're like, okay, I can work with a character that I really enjoy. I pick the character because I feel connection with them, and like, okay, I can do Delicious in Dungeon. I did Senshi, who is like loves food and wants to like cook bread, and they're in a dungeon and they're fighting monsters, and you're like, oh, I love cooking, I love food. I went actually to school for that, but fun fact about myself. And that character is a short dwarf who is like navigating the dungeon and trying to feed people, and like that's on me. I want to be the character. So I think that just kind of finding things that you identify with them, and just kind of, okay, I obviously don't have a big beard. So you build a beard, and you build like the proportions of the helmet to make sure that you look smaller, right? Like to make it play along the lines. And then just kind of also like if the character is a male character presenting, you just change it. Nobody's going to tell you, no, that's not the right thing to do. I think that it opens up the door to like imagining the character how it will be in a different scenario, in a different life, in a different version of yourself, and it's fun. I think that's kind of where I choose them in a way that is like, am I gonna have fun and I'm gonna pretend that I'm this character for what 8 hours a day? It's like it's a commitment.
It is a commitment. Those costumes are
Yeah.
quite elaborate. It can be quite a commitment.
Yep.
Especially when your foam doesn't work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like the classic of you build all these costumes and you're like walking 8 hours in a convention, you're dehydrated, you like didn't eat because like the costume itself sometimes doesn't work against you, or it breaks. You're like, well, I guess Senshi now doesn't have this, right? Like you're gonna go into the next part of things of how you navigate crowds in a elaborate costume as well.
Yes, I've seen some very, very interesting ways of people ducking through, where some people actually have like 2 or 3 friends kind of walk around to help part the crowd if they've got a very
I
extensive
would
costume.
not be alive if I didn't have my friends and my brother with me. It's like, hey, have you eaten? Have you drank water? Have you even gone to the bathroom? And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot all of them.
Well, sometimes it's hard in those elaborate costumes.
Yeah.
Right? Eating is not always easy. One of my favorite cosplays, I'm laced up into a corset for 8 hours, and that's hard.
It's the pain and the like.
I mean, it's comfortable because it actually like supports you very well, but you are limited in your movements.
Yeah.
You can't bend, you can't twist, you can't do anything. And eating is awful.
Mm-hmm. I have done like glue it to myself, and I'm done.
You've glued the costume to yourself.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. And like, if you're in competition mode, you're in competition mode, and
That's
you're like,
true. I
you
don't
gotta be on
compete.
stage, and you gotta do the thing, and you have to walk still 3 hours more afterwards. But I think that that's kind of part of the behind the scenes that people don't know. And once you become the character in the floor, I had a quick like moment with a little kid that she just came. I was dressing up as the sister of battle. And it's like this badass armor and like has a sword, and it looked very, I don't know, like a warrior. And then this little girl just come and hugs me. And I was like, are you a princess? And I was like, yes, I am.
Just gotta go with it.
It makes everything just worth it, right? You have the moment of like people like, I love this character, like it changed my life. And I mean, there's characters out there who really are life changing, but definitely like seeing other people just react to what you do is like, it makes all the hours of work worth it, right? Like whether you compete on that and whether you win or not, you have the opportunity to be that character for somebody else, and for them to just like be super excited about it. Yeah, I have you were asking me like, where am I? And I was like, well, that's a great question. I have been Senshi, I have been Sister of Battle, I have been Assassin's Creed, like different characters all together. I think every year is a different one.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen you come into in the same costume.
No, I don't. It's not that I wouldn't do it. It's just
It's fun making a new one.
yeah. I have and this is gonna be a funny thing to mention because I have a rule for convention, especially for Fancon, because it's local and like I try to challenge myself to do a costume in 2 weeks.
Yes, I see your Facebook posts about that.
Yeah. Have you seen me dying asking for chicken nuggets? Because that
Yes,
it's
I've
good.
seen your post going, I need chicken nuggets.
Yeah, definitely. I have a 2 weeks mark. I don't do more or less. This is 2 weeks, and also I work in between those times. It's not healthy.
It's not 2 weeks straight.
Here is a
It's
disclaimer.
2 weeks in
Disclaimer:
between
do
work.
not do that. Do not be me or do the 2 weeks. You have a lot of time to do these projects, but I find that the rush to getting the project done is very rewarding as well. It's like a little bit of addicting. I was like, oh, I had to get it done. I want to make sure the hot glue is hot glue to my hand because it's just like it's not stopping work, and it kind of brings a little bit of the challenge to have fun with it. But still.
Well, you can't make cosplay without getting glue all over your hands. I tried to make something last year. It did not work, though. I waited a week, and now that foam is stuck together, will not move. But I had glue on my hands for weeks.
Paint, dust, foam dust, it burns and cuts. it is a passion. You gotta be passionate about it, because it's like you're gonna be like meltdowns, craft, chicken nuggets in between. Yeah.
I stabbed myself with an X-Acto knife, so my project literally has blood in it.
Yeah, sacrifice.
All about the sacrifice.
Yeah, I become a goblin. Like, we were talking about goblins. I become a goblin in real life when it comes to crafting. I have like hot glue in one corner. I have like the cutting and the extra foam and like all these different materials. And between there, you can see me with my pajamas, just like, please, I need to survive this day. And then I have like my partner who comes like, okay, here is some food. Just make sure that you're not gonna stay up all night. I was like, I can promise that.
You get to work the next day.
Yeah.
Complete goblin mode.
Yeah. I have really good coworkers too, so they know that I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be doing a project, and like they're excited about it, and they don't know about what I'm doing, and like don't know the characters. But I think it brings also people who are not in the community, who don't know these characters, to be interested about these things. And like, hey, I don't know what you're doing, but this is great. They learn about all their cultures, about all their shows, and it's great.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
But I also I don't recommend procrastinating especially if you're learning cosplay. Because that's why I couldn't go with my costume last year, because I didn't finish. I didn't start it in time.
Oh, yeah, you don't know the timeline of how much time it will actually take you to do something.
Yeah. Next year. I'll do it next year.
That's the thing, right? Like, I think that even though I pressure myself to do 2 weeks, if you're learning and you want to learn like where to get the materials, it's like I live in a small community that sometimes it's hard to get to the good stuff like barge and like glues and foams that you want to have. And you kind of have to time that sometimes you will have to ship them in and like resources, and sometimes you don't have the resources, so you go to thrift stores and you go to like stores that are like, materials that you can get that is a little bit more cheaper than you thought maybe that will cost you, right?
Yeah.
That's the secret of like people don't know, like, it does cost money because you have to invest in all these materials. How can we? One of the things that I also like to do is like not having, I kind of do the costume in the project, but also like how can I reuse some of the materials that I already have, or how like if I go to thrift stores, I can find fabrics instead of like having to like buy new stuff, and like that will obviously skyrocket your cost, but also like reuse and recycle materials that you already have.
Yeah.
Instead of that.
Well, and it's a bit cheaper too, and sometimes you can find some really good stores finds at a thrift shop.
Yeah.
And who says you have to use actual like clothing fabric? You could make a costume out of curtains.
Yeah.
Or a tablecloth.
Tablecloth.
I got a skirt that's made out of a tablecloth. Literally, it's made out of a tablecloth.
It's great. It's great. I think like having the opportunity to try different materials that work for you. A lot of people are like, where do you get your fancy foam from? And I was like, turn it around, and it's like all these like kids mats, like the gym.
Oh, like the little like gym play mats.
Yeah, so you can see like the blue and the yellow coming out from like the dark black at the top. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And kind of what you were saying about like when you're first timer, you don't know that what materials to use. Nobody tells you.
No. And you look on YouTube for different videos on how to make stuff. Everyone will give you different ideas, different foams. Some people were like, oh, you can only do certain things in thermoplastics, which are very expensive.
They are.
That's not true. You can do them in other stuff. I mean, like we said, you could do it out of cardboard.
Yep. Duct tape. Paints.
Cardboard, duct tape.
Acrylics. Yeah, I think that's kind of where the experience comes with practice. If you didn't know how to make a crown, and there's so many tutorials out there, like look at all of them. Look through all the sites, and what I do is basically save all the reference that I want to use, and sometimes like characters that don't have that detail but I liked or have seen to other people do, I would just implement it and do it. Like there's no limits. There's nobody who's gonna come like, that's not an accurate senshi, and yell at you and be like, get out of here.
Well, that's though true. I did dress up as a cosplay from Naruto a few years ago, and I couldn't get the wig properly, and somebody did actually comment on it.
What?
Yeah, because I was Tomori, and I didn't have the wig that was in the 4.
Yeah,
I just had the 2 pigtails.
Wow.
And I wasn't about to cut the wig because it was an expensive wig.
Yeah.
So I just had it too. But I had a really cool fan, and that fan was made out of a sheet of fabric that I found at Value Village and dollar store poster board.
Yeah. There is definitely like that something that happens, right? Like you have like the hard die. Is that what you say in English?
Die hard. The die hard.
Die hard. Yeah, the opposite. I got the opposite. Yeah. And you're like, well, yeah, okay, this is my own version, and whatever, you move on, right? Like you kind of have fun on your own ways, and then hopefully people can turn around and learn from it. Really.
Yeah, I still had fun with that costume.
Yeah, that's great. And also like using also a big fan walking around.
Yeah, that was a bit. Next time I got to figure out how I'm actually going to attach that to my back, because carrying it around for 8 hours was a bit of a challenge.
That's great. Like it's even just like trying to figure out how to make one that big.
I managed to put it together the night before because I had it all laid out on my table and I could not figure out how to get this. And then I found this bolt in my toolbox. Again, random tools that I find, and I don't get rid of bolts apparently. And I found it and I just put it together and it worked. And then I was able to figure out how to attach the fabric.
Did we just went on the reference of goblin hoarding materials?
Oh, I think so.
I think so. I think we just got there.
And that is one of the things. And I know, like, I don't know about you, but I know my mom or my dad will cringe when I say that, we hoard things because you never know when you're going to need it.
You never know. You never know when, like, the foam that you, like, cut 3 years ago might be useful for a project. You never know.
I actually just thought I have a whole bunch of those little, like, the middle piece of the curtain rods that I don't have the curtain rods for anymore.
So you just collect them?
I left them in a box that literally says random hardware. I could use them as spikes.
I think for cosplayers, we have like a box of the like the classic random drawer that you have like all these items. I don't know where I'm gonna use them, but they're there. So
the random cords are out. The random hardware is in.
Yeah, yeah. I have boxes of this. So if you're gonna get into cosplay, just know that the hoarding does happen, and that's just the goblin inside you trying to like shinies and rocks.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, exactly. Just
you
like
don't throw
D&D.
out fabric. You don't throw out anything.
Yeah.
I have scraps of fabric and just in a pile.
I know.
I
had to move from another house, and I was scared. I was like, this is how I'm gonna fix all these boxes. So
you do the inventory of how much you have, and you go, oh.
Sure, like that sounds like a very organized me that in the future hopefully she has something to do with that. No.
Tricky's finding it again.
Yeah. That's the problem. And then you don't find them and you buy them again.
And then you find it after you buy it.
Yeah. That's how you end up with like 3 layers of foam and a full roll of the back end of the box. Yeah. It does happen.
It does.
I think like this is a secret. You gotta be a goblin. You gotta go all in.
Yes.
Right? Recycle materials, paint, chicken nuggets.
The chicken nuggets are I'm getting those are the staple of being cosplaying is eating chicken nuggets.
It is a fuel. That and like a coffee. Cold brew.
Multiple coffees.
Yes.
Because you need the brain power.
Yeah. Yeah. What I was gonna say that you have the goblin mode of hoarding, and then it spreads out to all the other hobbies that you can have in your life.
That's true. That's true.
Remember, we have like rapier.
We do.
We have fighting. We have cosplay.
And we should specify for the audience what rapier and fighting are, because they might think that we're doing some like weird ninja thing.
I mean, we kind of do that.
That's true.
We do that. Part of the cosplay community, you dress up and you pretend to be somebody else. So I found another hobby which that's kind of how we have interacted before. The Society of Creative Anachronism is a non-profit organization. I found a local group who did medieval reenactment. So they do anything before the 17th century. And we go from like anywhere from Bronze Age to like the Vikings, like Norse, and you go to like 13th century, and you have Englishmen, and you have like even Mesoamerican now. You have before. Like not just European but other areas, and then you just pretend to be this person from the Middle Ages. I mean, don't you see me? I'm like the shortest Mexican Viking you can ever meet. So I met this group of people who are just amazing, and that's kind of how I was saying about we do fight and pretend to be ninjas, but not no ninjas. We were like Italian fencers, right? A good example is like we do wear like a fencing mask to protect our face to make sure you don't get a sword in your eye.
There are pretty strict guidelines on that.
Yeah. They have a rules of combat, so you follow those ones. And you go on the weekend, you go like, I'm going to war. And my mom is like, why are you gonna be doing what? What again? I was like, yeah, I had to fight this guy who is like three times my size, and I'm just gonna go to war. Yeah, but like pretend, right? I was like, yeah, sure. And then they saw the pictures and videos of me like going on the war shield and like getting just wrecked. I was like, yeah, that's what I do on the weekends, Mom. I go and pretend to be a medieval fighter.
It's a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
And I've done the rapier, the fencing.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my favorite times is when we would just sit there and we would just practice the positions and we would literally just yell movie quotes.
Yes.
Sword fighting related movie quotes.
Yeah. It's like, are you not entertained? It's a classic one.
It's a classic one.
You gotta throw it out there. Yeah. And then like you have like this is a good example, like you have cosplay that also are like video games who are like medieval inspired ones. And now like you go into this hobby who is like people who are doing truly reenactment, who are like go and study like history and like they're nerd out, right? We nerd out about like how would they have dressed back then. So the cosplay part of it now became something like, oh, I can make a Norse apron and I can do like a shield and I can do a sword and I can do all these different things. Learn how to do like the Norse woman will have beads in like a festoon they call it, and you learn how to make the beads and how to make, so imagine cosplay but in a higher scale with like other materials that like glass and like blacksmith and things like that. So I don't know, I think that rapier, I think you have fun though.
Oh yeah.
Except that moment that we talked about. We don't talk about Bruno.
We won't talk about that one.
You don't talk about Bruno, but yeah, definitely like having the opportunity to be out there and fight.
It's
like,
a lot of fun.
I'm allowed to fight somebody? Like,
it's a lot of fun. I did a tournament with somebody else, and we had this one piece of music that was playing, and we both started kind of doing like this Highland dance while we were dancing around the arena. It was so much fun.
Sweet. I think that just giving you permission to like be another character on your D&D campaign, but now you have history nerds coming together and encampments. Like I remember, I don't know if you got the chance to go, but there is like a quad war.
No, I haven't been.
It's a site that has like a castle. Like it's like a wooden castle that they built.
It's still a castle.
It is a castle. And you wake up and you're like, open your tent and you're like, see the castle in the mess in the morning. You're like, oh my God, this is just like the movies. Like it's just like, you know, you're watching all these like people getting together and like trying to fight through the castle.
Storm the castle.
Storm the castle. Yeah. But you have different ages too. Like you have like from kids, so parents bringing their kids, all the way to like people who have been playing for 50 and like 60 years. So it's just a great experience.
Yeah, it brings in that other layer of cosplay because everyone there, when you're there, isn't a character.
Yeah.
And some people go a little bit further with their character. Some people are just there for the socialing. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But everyone is in a character. And most people, I mean, some people, you don't know them other than by their persona name.
Yeah. You didn't know me. You didn't know
That's true. I did not know you other than by your persona name for a while. Yeah. It confused me for a long time.
I know. And still people confused about like, I don't know what name to call you. Because in the SCA, you get to pick your persona. You get to pick a name. And you say, I am a Norse woman from so-and-so area. And this is my new name. And people call you by your name. And you can learn like, kind of like in video games, you earn titles and you get like experience. You earn a title as you play and you have experiences like service experience, or you have fighting prowess, and so there's accolades that you can achieve within this game. And then like you go through the halls and people like, her ladyship Astrid, and I was like, yes, that's me. Yeah, so it feels great to have kind of that sense of like Game of Thrones themes that you get to title and you do all these different things. But
Little less murdery than Game of Thrones, though.
yeah, no, yeah, no, not the next stuff, no,
Yeah.
not the weird stuff, but definitely like the big dresses and like the titles and the pageantry to things, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So if somebody was looking, like we're
Yeah.
we're circling back a little bit. Somebody was looking at starting cosplay. They've done the duct tape and the cardboard.
Yeah.
They're looking at maybe getting some foam. I mean, other than thrift stores, like you said that you might have to ship them in. Like, where do you go anywhere specific? Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, there's definitely companies out there that you can ship them to, like from Alberta. You can ship them to Prince George. I don't know if you wanted to tell you like some of them.
Well, I know one site that I use.
Yeah.
I've been pleased with them, but it's more just getting ideas of where to go, because a lot of the stuff we can't source locally just because of where we are. We're not in a bigger center.
Yeah,
Oftentimes we have to ship if we can't find the materials local.
I try not to. Completely disclosure, I try not to. I try to use materials locally. Like foam, I will go to like Home Depot, right? Like different like stores that have materials, construction materials that I will be able to use.
Well, that's a good thing. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you know, like the foamy rolls, you can get them for like the floor that you use for in your gym. Those ones are like a little bit thicker, but you can play around with the thickness that you have, right? For barge, you can order it online, but you can also use something that is like a contact cement that is local thing. Like
you can get contact cement in.
This is the secret of a cosplay. You all the materials are around. You just need to be able to like figure out how it works for you, right? Especially if you're working in the basement and you have not good air circulation.
Yes.
Probably watch out for those things, right? Like learn about how the product works for you, and then you just kind of work.
Be prepared with certain glues, because certain glues will definitely mess you up if you're in a non-ventilated area.
Or like mask, and like if you're like Dremel, Dremel is a construction or like tool that you use for other things, and not necessarily what you reuse for a craft stuff. But buy a good Dremel, and then there's like an extension one. So it's easy for your hand to handle, so you can like sand the foam, and there's different heads that you can use for like little details to it. I think like if I could say like the backpack of cosplay, like what materials you have to basically have available is like foam, because you can make anything out of foam. Mm-hmm. Anything. Armor, you can make it.
And heat is wonderful with foam, because then you can shape it.
So a heat gun would be my second tool. A hand Dremel, a Dremel with the one attachment, hot glue or contact cement, and a good X-Acto knife. It's like that's basically what you need. Well, paint.
But paint you can source locally.
Yeah. Your acrylics and things like that, you can definitely get. And then for fabrics, I was just like, if you are looking for a specific fabric, sometimes the characters have a very unique ones, and you have cosplayers out there who are doing fabrics who are close to the characters, like little details. And like a good example is like if you're trying to do a Star Wars character, there is a file first, and you like they do have a lot of resources for you to like try to do exactly movie replica of things like that. If you want to go that way, then by all means,
you can.
Yeah, do it. But also like if you can find the proper materials, is outsource it, right? Like trying to figure out where will be the cheapest way or the more accessible way, because sometimes materials you can order them and they could take like a month, and the convention is like 2 weeks from now.
Yes, you gotta be careful with your timelines on that.
Yeah. And like this is the thing about like trying to keep it local, is like you have the opportunity to be more creative. It's like sometimes you can't afford to have the fancy thermoplastic, but you have foam that you can put on top of something that you can stretch out and get the same effect of it, and then just kind of play around if you have the time, right?
Yeah, and you don't need the fancy straps to hold cosplay pieces together. You can use it with fabric.
Yep. Velcro, everything. Magnets are hard to find, so Velcro your attachment.
And you can get industrial strength Velcro at the local stores.
Yes. Yeah.
That stuff doesn't come off.
No.
It does not come off.
Yeah, that's what I say. You are there. You're just a character. That's all you get. I remember that we were saying about the paint in your hands and things like that. It's like I remember going back to work with like half of my hand painted black because of the spray paint. Just like, well, okay, now it's that. How to explain it? No, they know.
They know.
Yeah, they know. That's how it goes.
They know. Everyone knows. Everyone can see it when you're in costume and you see like the little speckles of paint on your hand. You're like, yep, there's lots of paint. I mean, I have paint on a pair of pants because I wasn't paying attention when I was painting last year. You
have like your specific outfit to cosplay to work on costume.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I was in a rush.
Yeah, that's another advice to do. Like, don't just wear your nice clothes. It's not gonna survive.
It's like when you're painting your house. You don't wear your nice clothes to paint your house. Don't wear your nice clothes to do cosplay because you will get stuff on them.
Yeah. My dog was like walking with a piece of foam attached to it. Yeah, you go there, like just a fraction of the foam and like the fur, and I was like, I'm so sorry, buddy. Let me just grab it from you. Thank you. Yeah. But I mean, all the family, all the people who come visit me is like, I want to make sure I'm alive. Yes, let's go with the next thing.
Yep, I held up in my craft room for a good month.
Yeah. I
was trying to sew a dress.
What do you do with your props after you're like done with the costume?
They're sitting in a corner.
They're sitting in the corner?
They're sitting in the
corner.
corner.
You don't go in like display mode.
I'll have the room to display them. I have a staff that, well, at the time, the car that I had, it was too big. I didn't measure it properly to take my roommate's car because it was too big to fit in my car.
Can you imagine going on the bus and just like, sorry, I am doing this.
Considering it's a big tentacle staff.
Yeah.
It was, I wouldn't have wanted to take the bus in that costume.
No. Have I done it? I have taken public bus wearing Chun-Li from Street Fighter. Yeah, that was something.
Had some interesting looks on that one.
Yeah, it was not here, but like it's just part of the you just gotta do it. Yeah. I have here's the thing about what you decide to like do with your props is like I pick like kind of like the best ones and like those are on my wall and they're surviving. And then the other ones are just like in the corner in a box, and the convention is over. Some of them are already broken and you're like, what am I gonna do with them?
No, my two staffs are still doing well.
Yeah,
I was very impressed with those two staffs. Yeah,
you just like go to the bathroom and you're like, I could take my staff with me. Have you ever done that? No,
not outside of the convention.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'll just start walking around with it. You never know.
Why not?
I'm very proud of those staffs. Why not? PVC pipe and dowels. And clay foam.
Clay foam.
Yep.
All the materials that we can talk about.
That's how I did that.
So many things that you can have. Like the embellishment of the napkins of... God.
You can just... The sky's the limit. You can go... And Pinterest is your friend when you're looking for different things.
Yeah.
I do a lot of...
Just check your reference. I that's my only like... peep about like sometimes you, like there's so many resources online, but then like you're like that's how you end up with the wrong character from the wrong season. I was like, no, that's not the season that I wanted to do. But yeah, just can make a list of the things that you want to do.
Yeah,
keep it track.
There you go. Yeah. It's a brilliant thing. Well, I see we are out of time, so I got one final question for you. So if you were going to give one piece of advice to somebody that was maybe not 100% sure if they were a nerd, or they were kind of on the fence, or they were, but they didn't know how to admit it, what would you tell them?
I think it's just like be kind to yourself. Like, I feel like sometimes we like have all these passions that we want to be proud of, and sometimes it's hard to do that, right? Like hard to accept that it's like, well, not everybody will like it. But it's like, this is what you are. This is who you are. And this is what you like. So kind of like be kind to yourself, but also like, don't be afraid to show up that, because that's who you are. And it's a great experience to be able to share that with other people. To like be a Viking in medieval times, from like be Senshi from Delicious in Dungeon. Like have the opportunity to give yourself permission to enjoy yourself and have fun with it, right? Like that's the secret sauce. Like, it is the joy that you can miss out is totally worth it. Like just do it, right? Like the fun that comes from it, and the fun to like have these experiences, I will tell you, it is worth it. Because then that's a life experience that you're never gonna come back.
It's true. Very, very sound advice.
We went very deep on that answer, right?
That's okay.
Totally.
That's okay.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you so much for spilling some of your cosplay wisdom with us and being a guest on the show. We really do appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me. I really hope that we can continue to build this community and go on the weekend. Go into medieval fighting and go into like all these different crafts that we just talked about.
Who knows? We might become goblins again.
Yes, goblins. Yeah, thanks so much.
So now we're at the portion of the episode where we have our confessional. This is where our guest gets to tell us one funny, embarrassing, her choice, story of her choosing. So stay tuned.
No. I have to climb really short. I'm a short person. I don't need that as a confession, but I will tell you one more story. I once hugged the wrong mom. I really hope that she's watching this. I miss you. Just kidding. I do have something to tell you guys is that you can be whoever you want. And you can also be nerdy and play Helgable, a game that you play in medieval times with a carriage. I dare you to try it. It's really fun. You never know how aggressive people go for a cabbage. Try it out. You basically do rugby with like aprons, so you're not allowed to touch the cabbage, but you're allowed to like use an apron to grab it. And there's blood, there's sweat and tears. I have been part of that, and I'm a survivor of Helgable. And you should also try it because you don't get to touch the cabbage, but you get to score points and like climb and get aggressive. I don't know what else to tell you about that, but that's a confession I had to make.
Relax and zen.